Good evening, all. It is Monday, May 19th, 2025, here on Coach's Corner with Heck and King. It is our last show of the spring until we reconvene in the fall. And that's really sad. I know it's really sad for everybody that watches. It's super sad for me getting to do this every week, but we'll get through it. By the way, the QR code on the screen is still on there if you want to donate to the fund for the family that got in the bus accident last week. So we would really appreciate it if people would donate to that. And yeah, we got a lot to go on the show today. We might have a special guest. We do have Bodie Bender, who took a new job. And then we'll talk about the re-upping of the Hicks versus the Knicks series in the Eastern Conference Finals. The Pacers are back in the Eastern Conference Finals since they were led by George Hill and Paul George. We will get to all that right after this.
Coach's Corner with Coach Heck and the infamous Coach Patrick King. You're stuck with me, man.
I'm stuck.
You are stuck with me. I ain't going anywhere.
There's a lot of people that are jealous of me for sitting here, and there's some people that there's a little sympathy going on at the same time.
There's more people that are sympathetic to you. I'm just saying that much right now. Just remember what Ron Hecklinski said today. And you ain't that good. The scouting report said you were pretty good. You ain't that good.
Coach's Corner with Heck and King is proudly presented to you by Tony Letcher with Health Markets Insurance, on Funeral Homes in Mishawaka, Frick's Driving School of Mishawaka, and the Harbor Group Planned Wealth down in Anderson. Before we get started, make sure and like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and comment in the chat. Now, here's Heck and King.
How many people clap for themselves? I am not an egotistical guy, and I do not clap. I'm clapping for you.
That's our golf clap.
No, I'm clapping for you.
Okay, thank you.
I'm clapping for you for being.
I'm practicing my golf clap for this weekend.
Yes. So, as our great producer Scott from the Texas area said, this is our last show tonight. We've had 37 great shows in this cycle. We started probably on the third week in August. And come down to May 19th. Then we take a little break in the summertime and get ready to roll again. About the third week in August, we can come back. We can pick up high school football. We can get a lot of Notre Dame action in, and then we're ready to go. But it's been another phenomenal year. We've had great guests. We've been at a couple different locations. We started off at Dorbin's, and they had a little problem with a fire. just a little fire.
The Copacabana.
At the Copa. So, and then.
That's enough.
I know. And so then we've come over to the linebacker, and the linebacker people have been great hosts and have allowed us to come in and do our show from here. And we've just had a ball doing it from here. There's been great people coming in. The ambiance of the Notre Dame jerseys, of the great bar, the linebacker lounge. It's been phenomenal. So this is kind of sad for us. We don't know what our future holds as far as if we're going to be able to do it here maybe, or if we're going to have to take our show on the road. Maybe we'll go to the Goodwill Center and see if they'll have us. I don't know.
We can always go to the basement.
Yeah, I don't know. But it's just
you're right. We've had a good time here. We are kind of on a school schedule, aren't we? So when school's out, we take a break, and we'll be back when school starts for our fourth year.
Yeah, and I mean, hopefully we have the assistant coach from Notre Dame men's basketball, Ryan Owens. Hopefully will be joining us at 7. As Scott alluded to, Bodie Bender will come on at 7:30 to talk about his new job at Elkhart. And then we have a lot of sports to talk about. You're flying to Texas tomorrow.
I am. I'm heading for Texas. Heading for Dallas area to hang out with my two brothers, Steve and Jeff. And we work the Colonial Golf Tournament again this year. Steve's been there. This will be his 11th year. Jeff's 4th year, and my 3rd year. We'll be over at Fort Worth at the Charles Schwab Challenge at Colonial Country Club. And the people you saw yesterday on TV will be there. I mean, this is the big tournament. It's just the next one in line. Scheffler will be there. Spieth will be there. Siwoo Kim's there. Ricky Fowler. I mean, I can go on and on. So it's just the next one.
So what will your responsibilities be at the turn? I mean, will you just be on the course getting water bottles for the golfers? What do you do?
Basically, crowd control.
Crowd control.
I'll be one of the people that has the light blue shirts on and the hats, and they hand us these paddles that say "Quiet, y'all." And you'll either, if you look hard enough, you'll find me either behind 8 green, right there by the pavilion where all the VIP tent is, and trying to keep those people quiet. Or you'll find me right in front of 9T. That's our area, 8 green and 9T.
Yeah, but doesn't that get boring for you?
It does.
Out in the hot sun.
Yeah.
So what time are you there from?
Well, we alternate days. So Wednesday, every other day. Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, we're late. So we'll get there around noon, and we'll hang out till the last group comes through 9. And then we're off. And then the other days we're there early. We have to be there about 7:30 in the morning. We work till noon.
Man.
So we kind of alternate days. And my brother Steve lives over in Garland. So it's about a 50-mile trip for us, one way. So it takes a little bit of event, but it's fun. It's funny. And some of you people that have worked at these, we're volunteers, but it costs us money. So it costs me just under $100, but I get a couple shirts, I get a hat, I get fed 5 times, and I get a free round of golf sometime in September.
So did you take your free round of golf this past year?
Yeah, we went down. I flew down there in September and played. We don't play at Colonial because they've been working on it and remodeling it, but we play on one of the neighboring country clubs that they have, companionships with. So it's fun. We have a good time.
So you don't. There's no money exchange. You don't make any money.
No.
This is quote volunteer.
It's as volunteer as you can be. They say thank you a lot, and it's interesting. The players.
They're going to rack up a hefty toll bill.
Yeah, we get on the George W. and go. That's for sure. But the players are very appreciative too. You're sitting there holding the ropes, so the people they can get. We have 2 bridges that they have to cross, so we have to block the crowd so they can get across Rays Creek, and the Hogan Bridge is on our hole. They're on 9, so all the Texans actually go across Hogan's Bridge, which they use as a maintenance bridge. So the other golfers use the other newer bridge, but the Texas golfers, we know when they come through, they use the Hogan's Bridge, which is kind of a ceremonial thing.
So you get a couple shirts, you said?
I do. Well, you want
XL?
Okay. Well, I'm getting mine are.
No.
Mine are 2Xs.
You're not a 2X.
Mine are 2Xs. I got about 20 pounds on you, Skinny Minnie.
I'm at 236. How much do you weigh?
Well, I got about 2 pounds on you then right now.
238, man.
Hazard's getting old. There's a lot of mashed potatoes in here, buddy.
Yeah.
So, hey, talk to us. We need to talk about, there's a bunch of directions. I want to talk about the Pacers just to start off.
No, I can't tell you. I can't tell you how happy I am for the state of Indiana and the city of Indianapolis. I think the Pacers have just done a great job. Rick Carlisle is just an outstanding coach. His guys play their absolute guts out. There's no and on some teams you'll see this. I don't see this on the Pacers. On some teams you see a pecking order. Mm-hmm. Like this is 1A, this player is 1B. I don't think that happens on the Pacers.
No, and
I think it's 10 guys for each other.
And as a coach, you have to enjoy the Pacers. You don't have to agree with the shot selection and everything that goes on with it, but just the idea that they've got 10 kids that just play their tails off. And even when their second group is in, they don't lose ground. And sometimes they actually gain ground on the other team, and they just play hard. And I think that's what's so encouraging. And it seems like they've swallowed their egos. If you look at their lineup, a lot of those guys are castaways from other teams that didn't succeed with another team. They come to the Pacers. They've been willing to buy into this philosophy that they have, that if you play hard, you're going to get minutes. And as you said, they've got a couple go-to guys.
But, yeah, I think Halliburton could play for anybody, right?
Well, right now, and I was listening to some stuff today while I was outside working, and the guys were talking about the Final Four teams, and I said, if the Pacers had any other name on their jersey, they would be the favorites to win it all, simply because of the way they've been playing since January, and especially here in the playoffs. If their jersey said anything but Indiana, we'd be talking about them as the favorites. And I thought that was a huge compliment to the Pacers.
Yeah, it's a huge compliment. It's a huge compliment to the organization. It's a bigger compliment to Rick Carlisle because they've had other teams before that were pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
But Rick Carlisle's a pro.
Yeah.
And he understands how to coach them up. He understands how to get the best out of each player. And his system of let's play 10 guys. Whoever's hot, then maybe at the end we'll get more clock. Mm-hmm. But I think it all goes back to Rick Carlisle.
I think so too. And we can talk X's and O's all we choose, but the thing that makes them maybe better this year than they were last is they're playing a little better defense, and they've won some games that are under 100 points. Last year they just tried to outscore everybody, and this year as well. When they're at home, they play pretty darn well. But they won some games on the road. And they're going to have a chance to do that again. They start Wednesday. And I think what's interesting for the Indiana people here coming up is the home game 3 this weekend is the same day as the race. You talk about a busy place.
Yeah, no, Indianapolis will be rolling. So what time is that game?
Well, I think the Fever plays Saturday at home. The race is around noon or 1 o'clock. And then the Pacers play Saturday night at 7 or 8.
Wow. Indianapolis will be rocking. Indianapolis will be at the
7.
center of all athletic events, this coming weekend.
And I'm thinking back at the race. And Scott, you may remember seeing some highlights of this. I think it was in the 90s when Reggie was playing, the Hicks versus the Knicks. And they were getting ready to play. And I think the Pacers had a game on race day back then too. And the last thing the priest said at the 500 when he was given the benediction right before the 500 started, and he said, "And God bless the Pacers."
And may God bless. And Pope Leo already has a Chicago Bears jersey. I'm just saying, our Vice President Vance, met with the Pope either yesterday or today, and took him a Pope Leo Bear jersey.
What number was it?
Well, no, it just says number 1, Pope Leo.
256.
Pope Leo. He's number 1.
He's number 1.
He's number 1.
14.
Yeah. So, but and myself. I live in Indiana. I've worked in Indiana. I had a stint in Illinois for a little bit, but I'm an Indiana guy. But I'm a Chicago Bulls fan. I'm a Chicago Bears fan. I'm a Chicago Cubs fan. But for this next week, I'm going to be an Indianapolis Pacer fan.
Sure.
And when we talked about this 2 weeks ago, okay, we talked about the Cleveland Cavaliers. Mm-hmm. And you can go back and you can look at the archived shows. I said if Indiana wins a game against the Pacers, they'll be lucky. Oh,
right.
Yeah.
You were thinking Cavs in 4.
The Cavs in 4.
And I think they made a comment that the Pacers are the first team that has, won a series where they were the underdogs in every game.
Yeah, exactly.
In every game.
Exactly.
And they beat them bad.
Yeah, no, it wasn't close. And it's because of we're going to punch you. And we're going to be aggressive, and let's see if you punch back.
Well, there was one game they were down 20 in the first quarter and came back and won the game.
Exactly.
And I grew up in Central Indiana, so I can remember, when they were still part of the ABA. And I think I've mentioned that before. Some of us old timers, I remember watching the ABA games in the 60s and 70s in the Wigwam because the Coliseum was booked for the circus.
Okay. So you're an ABA guy. Give me a starting lineup of one of the Pacers teams back in the ABA days.
Back in the ABA days. All right. Their center was Mel Daniels.
Beautiful.
All right. One of the centers was Nedelicki.
A power forward.
Bob Nedelicki. Roger Brown was the 3. Billy Kettler I could go Don Busey or Freddie Lewis. How's
Pretty
that?
good.
There's 6.
That's pretty good. Who's coming off the bench?
One of those.
And Darnell Hillman.
With the hair.
Dr. Dunk.
Yeah. No, I mean, Darnell Hillman, about, I don't know, 6'7", but with the fro, about 7'6".
Yeah, and those teams would have been late 60s because I didn't mention George McGinnis.
And you didn't mention Rick Mount.
Well, you're right.
Yeah. But great teams.
Those are the teams I saw. Artis Gilmore coming into town, Zelmo Beatty.
Yeah, and
Billy Cunningham, Dr. J.
Oh man, those are some great.
Those are fun.
names.
Those are fun times.
And Bobby Leonard coaching them.
But yeah, and they used to play it. They used to play sometimes 2, sometimes 3 other playoff games at the Wigwam. They had to. It was interesting because they had to back. They backed it up clear to the stage. And at the other end, they couldn't pull the bleachers out at Section B far enough because they had to move. Had to go 94 feet. They had to come in and paint different lines, and that's one of the reasons when they redid the Wigwam floor. It used to be the first one. The 3-second lane was green, and you weren't around for that. You were still up here. You were in junior high. When they redid it, when I was in school, the 3-second lane was clean, had no color to it, and the reason was they had it set up for the pros.
Sure. So that's interesting.
So they did not have a colored 3-second lane. Now, when you were there, I believe the 3-second lane was red.
3-second lane was red.
And you put a line down through the middle for your support line.
No, hey. So officials would say something to me about that, and I say that's for PE class. that's not a help side line.
I still remember the support line. There was it wasn't a piece of tape because I had to pull a piece of tape off the floor at the Hadaway shack. Because I just had a piece of masking tape on mine, but they made me pull it up one game.
Yeah, no, that's a little help side, strong side, weak side line. Hey, Hack, what's that tape on? Oh no, that's a bad.
It's for badminton.
It's bad.
That's a badminton court, man.
Exactly.
Those officials.
So
those officials.
So
cool.
the NBA starts tomorrow night. You've got.
Do you guys remember Game 7 of the '95 Eastern Finals when Mark Boyle goes ding dong, the witch is dead?
Oh my goodness. Those are fun, and they're going to replay that stuff. I'm sure the Indianapolis
and Mark
stations
Boyle
will
is
be
still
all
calling
over
the
that.
Pacers.
Yeah. The Indianapolis stations will be all over all the stuff from the 90s and early 2000s. Who was the coach of the 94-95 teams? Anybody know?
Larry Bird.
Larry Brown.
Larry Brown. And then Larry Bird, right?
Bird was there in 2000 when Jalen Rose showed up.
Yes.
With Reggie at the end of Reggie's career.
Yeah. And the lineup before that was Mark Jackson, Rick Smith,
the Davis boys,
Dale and Antonio Davis.
And Reggie.
And Reggie, yeah. What a nice team. Now, were those teams taken out by MJ or those teams taken out by Derrick Rose's group?
The 2000 team that made the finals lost to the Lakers.
Okay. 94-95, they were there twice. I honestly can't remember. That's what we're talking about. Yeah, I believe that might have been Jordan.
Yeah, that's
actually 95 was the Knicks in the East Finals, and
that was the that was the Eastern Finals.
Yeah. So let's talk about the Knicks
semis.
Knicks Pacers. Tom Thibodeau is just doing a great job
with 7 players.
And that's all he plays. That's all he plays. And his pundits will always say he runs his team into the ground. Well, his team's still rolling pretty good now, right?
They're going to find out this week because they've had a couple days to get healthy because they were walking wounded here those last couple games against the Celtics. But they're getting people healthy. Their Villanova boys are healthy. I think they've got 3 left from Villanova that are.
How much do you think the Knicks winning that series had to do with the Knicks actually winning versus Jason Tatum tearing his Achilles?
And obviously when you lose Jason Tatum, that's huge.
Yeah,
that's huge.
And that was too bad too.
But at the end of the day, you still got to go play it, and you still got to make your shots. And when you got a great guard like Brunson, and can turn the ball over to Brunson, right?
He's a winner. He's a clutch player.
Yeah, he's really good.
I think the statistics show that he probably leads the world in clutch baskets, in crunch time games. So it'll be fun. It'll be fun. Minnesota
Q says the Pacers team game has been beautiful watch. Pacers in 6.
Okay. Sounds good to me.
Oh, he also said Derek McKee was the other starter. 94 and 95 was conference finals both years. Knicks in 94, ECF, then the Magic. Shaq and Penny in the 95.
Yeah.
Both won
Oh,
7.
there you go.
That's
Thank
That's
you
our
for
other
our research
historian.
team. Yes,
thanks, Q.
thank you. Oklahoma City's the only number 1 seed that's left.
Oklahoma City against Minnesota.
Yeah, they're a 1 and a 6. They're a 1 and a 6, where the Pacers are the 4 versus the 3. So there's only one number 1 and no 2s. So it just shows you again. Do we argue about how important is the season? I don't know.
Well, so here's what I got to say on the draft stuff. It doesn't matter if you tank. It doesn't matter if you tank on purpose or you're just a bad freaking team. It doesn't matter, because now with the ping pong balls and it's not always the worst team going to get.
I don't think the ping pong balls are a bad thing. I think they're.
Yeah, I don't know though. I mean, I don't know.
Is there a more honest way to do it?
I mean, I don't know if the 13th seeded team should be in line to get the number 1 pick. I mean, I think the draft is a way for bad teams to build.
So do you have like the bottom 6 and then the next 6? I don't know.
I mean, the NFL, National Football League, in order of how you finish.
Right.
So they're trying to, and I get why they don't want to do it that way, because of the fact they're trying to take tanking out of it.
Right, sure.
But still, when the Dallas Mavericks, and it couldn't have worked out any better in any situation on any planet than it did for the Mavericks, right?
Exactly. Now, and I've also heard people now talking about, do the Mavericks want to win right now? And if they do they trade that pick?
No.
Do they trade that pick for an established player so they can win now? Do they go get Zion Williamson?
No. Here's the deal.
Do they go get somebody else?
This is why you're talking on a podcast and you're not in a general manager's office.
I'm
playing devil's advocate.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, without question, if the number 1 pick was not a clear-cut favorite,
okay,
if it was not a clear-cut stud,
all right.
So now you're going to put Anthony Davis, Kyrie Irving, and you're going to have a number 3 guy, Cooper Flagg. Now, in his first year, will Cooper Flagg be an all-pro guy? No. Is he good enough? The prognosticators say for sure he is.
Eventually, yeah. But the kid's 18 years old.
You got to take him, man. You got to take him. You got to have a big 3. He would be everybody's consensus number 1 pick.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I am so tired of people in the not for long league, the National Football League. Talking about Caleb Williams. The Bears took Caleb Williams number 1. 95% of the other teams, if they had the number 1 pick,
they would have taken him.
They would have taken Caleb Williams.
And then it's sad that now people with not enough to do are now trying to dream up ideas and saying that Caleb Williams said he did not want to go to the Bears.
Well, I don't think that. I think that's 100% true.
And that's okay.
I think his dad dreamed it up.
Okay.
And his dad was going to try and pull a Eli Manning power play or a John Elway power play.
I'm not going to play for the Colts.
But and everything that they said in that supposed conversation, I mean, I can't. I love the Bears, but I can't. I mean, that's where quarterbacks go to die. Tell me a quarterback out of Chicago, Mitch Trubisky.
I know.
Justin Fields.
Yeah.
And so when a kid says that,
do you blame him?
No, I don't blame him. But then he gets an agent, and his agent says, "Hey, man, we can't be talking that way." And the kid straightens up. Now the kid loves Chicago. And I'm not really sure it was Caleb Williams. I think it was Caleb Williams' dad that precipitated all of that conversation. And anyway, going back to the NBA playoffs, Minnesota's got a star, Anthony Edwards, right?
He's pretty good.
And OKC got a star, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
What do they all have in common? I believe they're all Kentucky guys.
Yeah.
I think I saw where Calipari has 18 players on the rosters of the Final Four.
Yeah, and
I thought that was pretty impressive.
That's really impressive. And then the pick or the trade that put OKC over the top was when they traded Alex Caruso from the Bulls to OKC because he was just a glue, tough defender. I'm going to take charges. I'm going to do whatever I need to do to win games. And now you put him on that really, really good team. Chet Holmgren, what's he, like 8 foot?
Yeah.
8 foot,
He's
runs
good.
the floor, shoots shoots threes.
And he has stayed healthy. He has stayed healthy, which has been a big, big plus for OKC.
Yeah. So who wins that series?
I still think Oklahoma City's the best team.
Yeah, I take OKC.
Even though they had to go 7 with Denver, I still think they're the best.
Well, and then you
I
look
like
at
Minnesota for one reason. You want to
Why?
guess what it is?
Well, what, Anthony Edwards?
Mike Conley.
A little Lawrence North action,
There
man.
you go. Sounds good.
A little Lawrence North action. So I remember when Greg Oden was being recruited by Mike Davis at IU, and the assistant coach at Lawrence North back then was a great friend of mine, Jimmy Etherington. And Jimmy Etherington was telling me that Greg Oden was there, and they were talking, and Mike Davis had come to Lawrence North. And Mike Davis, the head coach at IU at that time, was talking to Greg Oden. And Greg Oden said, hey, coach, do you want me to bring Mike Conley over here so he can talk with us? And Mike Davis said, no, it's you. It's you we want. Not knowing that Greg Oden and Mike Conley were going to be a package deal at Ohio State. And Mike, so
if
when
that
you,
is too smart, and
when
he
you
said,
want
"Oh,
to
I'll
talk
take both."
about blowing recruiting,
Right.
how about that?
And Thad Matta was at Ohio State, right, Scott?
At Ohio
Yeah.
State at that point in time, and said, no, stop the train. We want both of you. So, Greg, if I'm going to talk to you, Mike, get over here too. And at the end of the day, they wanted to play together, and end of story. Great career.
And it's amazing how many times those package deals work compared to not working, because a lot of times one of them just doesn't play out.
Yeah, but that one did.
Yes, it sure did.
Hey, our,
But that
our
one
guest
did.
is here. Do you want to bring him in?
And Mike Conley had a hell of a career. We got the great Ryan Owens on, man. Got the great Indianapolis Flash, man.
What's up?
Hey, Coach, how you doing, man?
Man, I'm healthy. I'm super blessed. Thank you for having me, fellas.
Oh.
Good to see you guys.
Yeah, it's good seeing you.
So can you tell where we're at? I mean, in the background, do you know where we're at?
You know what? I do, because I saw it in the email, but I wouldn't be able to tell because I haven't been in there.
Stop.
Good answer.
Stop. You ain't been in the linebacker?
But I haven't been there. Shame on me.
Good answer.
Oh,
It
man.
is a cultural event.
Yeah.
It is. It is. We got jerseys, Notre Dame basketball jerseys. We
Wow.
got football jerseys.
I need to
It
get
is.
in there.
It's great.
Yeah. I
It's
need to
great. So listen. Tell our listeners. Your journey from Indianapolis. How you got to the great University of Notre Dame.
Yeah, that's a good question. So I end up I graduated high school from a small town, Southern Indiana, Princeton, Indiana.
Sure. So I was the head coach at Jasper for a while.
Yep.
So
Jackie
Jasper,
Young's from.
Princeton, the same league.
Yep. I played basketball for a couple years at University of Tennessee Martin. Then I transferred to Southern Indiana and played for Bruce Pearl. And then, so I was at Southern Indiana, coached with him for a couple years there, coached with him in Wisconsin, Milwaukee. I took a head coaching job, and I coached at DePaul University, Division III school in Greencastle, Indiana.
Yeah, Bill Fenlon, right?
Yeah, Bill Finland.
Oh, what a great guy, Bill Fenlon, man.
Bill Finland. And he was too smart to coach basketball. Too smart. Like, he graduated from Northwestern, one of the smartest people I ever met. He overanalyzed. He's way too smart. Smartest guy I ever met in my life. But then that's why I met Coach Shrewsbury. And me and him was on the same staff there. And Coach Shrewsbury went on to coach the Celtics. I went on to coach AAU basketball. And we ended up crossing paths again later in the career. And he got the job here. And he came on. He asked me to be on his staff. And here I am.
So what AAU program were you affiliated with in Indianapolis?
So I coached with originally, like when I first got involved with it, I coached Eric Gordon's. I helped generate the Eric Gordon AAU program back in the day, and coached a lot of players. Some players that played here, probably VJ Beecham was on my team one year.
Yeah, Avon, right?
Yep, VJ Beecham was from Fort Wayne.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think you're thinking of Austin.
Yes.
Yeah. And then I coached with the Indiana Elite program, won a national title with that. Jaron Jackson was on my team.
Yeah. Jaron Jackson from Park Tudor.
Yep.
VJ went to New Haven.
Yeah. New Haven. And then I coached the Indiana Elite. The Indy Heat AAU basketball program, the Nike program on the EYBL circuit for a few years. And I owned a few all-state agencies in Indianapolis. The game was always really good to me. I tell people all the time, they always like, why are you always coaching AAU basketball? I was like, hey, I live in a big house. I got a hot wife. It's all because of that basketball. And the basketball game has been good to me. So I always just wanted to give it back. I wanted to give it back. And then it was something really cool. You sit around all winter long, and every TV station you turn it on, every game you turn it on, it felt like there was a guy I coached or somebody I coached against. And or they was at my house and stretched out on the floor for a couple summers. You know, it was just I just like giving back to the game. And then Coach Shrewsbury, right before he left Penn State, he was about to take the Notre Dame job. He called me. He was like, hey, are you in a situation where you're flexible? I was like, if you're asking me if I'm coming to Notre Dame with you, I'm all in.
How flexible you want to see me be, Coach?
Right.
I can be there tomorrow.
So about 2 days later, he hit the press that he accepted the job, and here I am.
That is so cool. So as we know, Micah ended up playing high school basketball at Indianapolis Cathedral.
Yes, sir.
And I'm coaching at the Wigwam. I'm coaching the Great Anderson Indians, man, at the Wigwam, and we're playing Cathedral. And it's late in the game. Micah is a little guard for Cathedral. It's late in the game. The game's going back and forth. I think we're up 1. I call timeout, and I'm like Bill Finland. I'm so freaking smart. I'm gonna do this now.
Right.
Hey, when Micah makes the entry pass, leave Micah and go double the wing, and let's get the ball out of the wing's hands. And the opposite wing gonna slide up to take Micah. And oh man, we're gonna trap that.
Right.
We trap that. Micah makes the pass. We're a little late sliding up to get to Micah. They get the ball back. He's deep, and he knocks it in. They take the lead. And Coach Heck, lo and behold, Coach is out of his mind again, and the Indians lose, man. I tell Micah that. I said, Micah, you remember that? He says, are you kidding me? That's the Wigwam. How can I not remember that, man?
Oh, heck yeah. How can you not remember that? The Wigwam. There's a lot of history and tradition in there, right?
Oh, man. And Pat King, played for Anderson.
Right.
Back in the day, he was a great Anderson Indian. Played with a couple of great players, Roy Taylor and Tony Marshall. And they were great players. I mean, talk about the Indians.
That was back before a 3-point line. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So,
man, there's a lot of ballers come out of there.
Yeah, a lot of people. I don't think we've had any Notre Dame people come to. I know they had a kid named Lustig that came from Alexandria that came up to Notre Dame, but that would have been late 90s, maybe during the McLeod time period. But everybody that came from either Madison Heights or Anderson ended up either at Purdue or IU.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, a lot. Bobby Wilkerson, Winston Morgan,
Ray Tolbert.
Just great. I mean, Troy
Stu
Lewis,
Robinson.
obviously.
Troy Lewis went to Purdue.
Yeah, and so this past spring was a really exciting time for me. I don't know how this happened, but I got voted onto the Hall of Fame, and we had the banquet in Indy, and Troy Lewis is going in with me at the same time. Troy Lewis, another Anderson guy that had a great coaching career at New Albany, Jimmy Shannon.
Mm-hmm.
You know Jimmy Shannon.
Absolutely.
And Jimmy Shannon goes into the Hall of Fame at the same time. So I mean, what a great time. Hey, talk about the Irish now, man.
Oh yeah, I would love to.
It's just a new day.
Yeah.
It's a new day to where you can bring a freshman in, and that freshman can say, "Man, I want some more NIL." It's hard to even keep your own players.
That's a real thing, Ron. That's a real thing. You know, fortunate enough, we kept 7 of the 8 possibilities, and that's scoring like an A in college basketball today, like getting an A on your exam.
That was one of my big questions: is how many people were there for spring practice? I guess the combination question: how many were returnees or keepers? And how many of the new guys had a chance to come in here in the spring?
Yeah.
Or did they have to finish at their old school?
So, well, I want to make sure I put some respect on my man, J.R. Kaninsky. So when we factored that in, that was kind of a mutual thing. J.R. wanted to play his life. He graduated, got his degree, so he wanted to play somewhere else for his 5th year. So we had, out of the 8 possibilities, we lost Tay Davis. Tay Davis ended up going to Oklahoma.
Okay.
So
that's a tough one because Tay Davis scored 15 a game for you and played really well, didn't he?
Yeah. He's just a beautiful person. He's a great kid. But maybe it was a better situation for him. You know, I'm not going to speak too much.
Sure.
You can't. Yeah. And in today's world, it happens.
Yeah. So I was on the road recruiting this weekend. I was at the Nike EYBL in Memphis. And there were so many coaches. There was a coach told me, said, "Hey, we had to get 13 dudes. We had to get 12 guys." So like continuity is a real thing now. If you have continuity, you got a leg up. So we had a great workouts in the spring. Like we're on the up. We're trending up in a major way because we had continuity. We had all of our guys. We had 7 guys we could work out with and walk-ons, and we got better. We really did. We got better. Our guys are getting stronger, bigger, faster. They got a lot of work in, and we're excited about next season.
So you brought in a new strength and conditioning coach, huh?
Yeah. The nickname is Sandman. Now, John Sanderson. Okay. There's elite, then there's the elite of the elite. Like he's the elite of the elite. He's the real deal.
He's spent the last 10 to 15 basically at Michigan.
Correct.
And then Vanderbilt for 1 maybe.
Yep. So he's highly respected in the industry. Like as soon as we hired him, and that was, we're all sitting there talking and evaluating players all weekend, and every 15 minutes somebody would walk by and say, "Oh man, you're lucky. You got Sandman." Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. That's...
Well, and to the common person that just shows up on game day to watch a ball game, they don't understand how important that weight room is on a day-to-day basis to get those ball players ready. There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes, and like you said, the weight coach is one of the most important people on the staff.
Oh, absolutely. And not only is he like the strength conditioning coach, but like he's helping guide our guys in like the proper nutrition more than anything, and how to stretch and how to sleep and when to eat and what to eat. And you know how sometimes you say there's levels to players. There's levels to strength conditioning coaches as well. Like as soon as he stepped into our practice facility, our whole building, the energy in our whole building turned up a little bit. Like you could feel his presence.
That's really cool because then you don't have to bring that energy every day.
Right.
I mean, it's so much of a help for you guys. I mean, not only in the weight room, but in agility drills, in footwork stuff.
Yeah.
That's all stuff that you guys don't have to do. Him and his staff are responsible for that.
Oh, no doubt. And Ron, he hooped too. So he hooped at Ohio State. He was on that, I think it was the 99 Final Four team they had.
Interesting.
So that, he sees the movements. He knows the movements of guys out there, and he can train, he can develop towards that. So you got me excited about that one. That's I mean,
No, I can hear it in your voice, man. I can hear that stuff in your voice talking about how my guy comes in, and I know he's in the building because he's loud.
Yeah.
And those players respond to him, right?
Yes, he's the elite of the elite. He's the elite of the elite. And then,
that's really cool, man. That's really cool.
At the end of that ACC conference, we're going to be going up. We're going to be getting stronger throughout the season instead of limping to the finish line.
All right, so let me ask you this question. You talk about strength and conditioning. Did he take a look at you and say, "Man, I got to do some work with you too, man"?
Oh, absolutely.
I got to get you rolling.
Yeah, he sized me up. He sized me up. Yeah,
that's funny.
He's so cool.
Right. Yeah.
Hey, Mike, got another question for you. The kids just graduated this past weekend, so everybody's pretty well on their own. When do the ball players come back for June workouts and summer school and everything? What's the schedule for the month of June look like?
So they'll come back around June 7th, June 8th. We'll get them. They'll start summer school for 8 weeks at that point, and we're allowed to work with them for a certain amount of hours each week through those 8 weeks that we're working out with them during the summer.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So
that involves all the new players as well, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, speaking of new players, let's talk about the vaunted four, man.
Yeah.
Your recruiting class. I mean, just unbelievable. Jalen Harrison. So when you talk about Anderson guys, so Jalen Harrison, his uncle played for me at Anderson. Jalen Harrison's dad, Art, was almost a volunteer assistant coach for me at Anderson. And Art was a bad boy when it came to playing on the court. Art could lace him up. Art was big and strong. And then I leave Anderson, and Chantel, Jalen's mom, says we ain't sending him to Anderson, man, because Anderson took a dip. They sent him to Fishers for 2. He goes to Lalamere, and then I see him last spring. He's there with Chantel. They're talking. I go and I say, listen, if I'm still at Anderson, are you an Indian? He said, Coach, if you'd have been at Anderson, I'd have stayed there forever, man. Hey, I mean, that's a player, isn't he?
Yeah,
that's a player.
Yeah, he can go. Now, the best thing about him is it's like his personality. Like, he can hoop now. He's a McDonald's All-American.
Sure.
But the best thing about him is his ability to connect with people. Like, he's one of those young kids that got an old head. He walks in the room, he says, "What's up to everybody?" He's walking over, he's dapping you up, giving you the bro hug. How's your day? How's your mom doing? How's your wife doing? Like, he carries himself like that. Yeah.
That's him to a T.
Yeah. And to have that skill set at such a young age is a testimony to, Miss Chantel and Art.
Yeah.
To their parents.
And his uncle, Joe Von McGraw, worked him out religiously when he was a little guy. And I think everybody's question heading into this, and I know there's no way for you guys to answer this. He's the only one that will be able to answer this. But my question will be, is he going to be a one and done, man? And I hope he's not. I hope he gets to Notre Dame. He's a Christian kid.
Yeah.
And I hope he gets into that Christian atmosphere and says, I want to stay at ND for a while.
Yeah, his faith is something that's real to him and his family. He's going to have 2 feet in. You don't have to worry about that. When he's here, he's the type of kid that's going to have 2 feet in. If he's one and done, that's great because he had a great season. We had a great season. That's good.
That's true. Good point.
Yeah, that's good. If he has to stay 2 or 3 years, he's okay with that too. They're just all about coming here and getting better, developing and getting better on a daily basis.
Yeah. So then you got the 6'10" kid out of St. Paul, Minnesota, Tommy Arneman. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah, Tommy Arneman. About 6'11". He's closer to 7 foot now. You're not too many bigs these days. We can just throw the ball to him on the post with the back to the basket. He can go over right or left shoulder and get you a bucket. Yeah, that doesn't happen too often anymore with these.
Yeah, no. That jump hook shot that
Yeah.
we lived by.
Oh, sure.
I mean, because we couldn't jump, so we had to get that shoulder in and get to that jump hook.
That Wes Unseld shot.
Yeah, and then he's got the up and under stuff inside too.
Oh yeah. He's got great feel, great skill. His footwork around that basket's unbelievable. Kind of like the up and under, like Kevin McHale, like the old school Kevin McHale game.
Sure.
Yeah. And speaking of Kevin McHale, so I mean, I've been so lucky in this coaching gig. I coached the McDonald's All-American game, and I coached LeBron's team, and so we probably had 5 or 6 days of practice with 2 practices a day. So every day at practice, every GM in the NBA would sit underneath the basket on both ends and watch practice. And I'm breaking them up. The bigs are going to go down to one end, and I'm going to take the perimeter guys on the other end. Doug Mitchell was also on the staff.
Yeah.
And so I send the bigs down with a guy named Joe Nataline, who's an assistant coach, and I send him down to the end where Kevin McHale is.
Yeah.
I said, Joe, you got the bigs, go down there. And
Yeah.
don't worry about Kevin McHale being down there.
Yeah. Kevin McHale. Hey, that's a good little mic drop there, coaching McDonald's All-American game. You slid that in there on me, right?
No, that was a blast. And LeBron was really cool. Really cool.
Yeah.
They had a little guard on that team too, didn't they?
Yeah, we happen
Wait,
to
you
have
mean
this
you've
little
known
guard.
Heck for more than 5 minutes and he didn't talk about coaching LeBron?
Hey,
Yes. Yes, and that little guard was Chris Paul, by the way. That little guard was Chris Paul, by the way. And
hey, Scott, he recycled that story. I wasn't going to say anything since you brought it up, but he recycled that. He told me within the first 5 minutes when I met him.
Thank you.
That story
It's like
twice.
meeting somebody that does CrossFit.
Thank you.
No, you'll know.
No, it's instant credibility when you have an office and you can put a picture of LB up in the office, right?
No
and
doubt.
you get players coming in, and it's instant credibility, man.
No doubt.
So now your guy from Cathedral, Brady Kohler, 6'9".
Yeah.
Is he ready to go, or is it going to take some time for him?
You know what? Just don't know yet. But that's you speaking of like going to these games. He played in the Iverson game a couple of weeks ago out there, and we got some feedback from some NBA people saying that's what they look like. So he's 6'9". He's really athletic. About 7'2" wingspan.
Oh boy.
He can do it. He's one of those guys that was a late bloomer as far as his height. He was 6'1" as a freshman in high school.
Wow.
He was a point guard. So, but he didn't get awkward with it. He's still fluid. He grew, but he didn't get funny with his movements. And so he moves so well. He's highly, highly skilled. Like if he came in and he's in the rotation, I wouldn't be surprised, not one bit.
Yeah, and speaking of Cathedral, Jason Delaney just does a great job.
Big time.
I mean, with those AAU kids, with getting kids to go to Cathedral, and then once he gets them, he coaches his brains out with them, right?
Yeah, he coaches. He loves them hard. He coaches them hard, and they know that's what they signed up for when they get there. And he's a great job. He does a great job. He's a great coach. He's a good friend of mine, and I got a lot of respect for him. His assistant coach, Andre Wright, he coached at the college level as well. They know what they're doing there.
Yeah, that's really good. When you in the recruiting game, when you get a kid and you get a kid from a program like that, and if it's a kid that maybe not,
Right.
then you look that he's played for Jason, and that throws that over the edge, doesn't
Oh,
it?
absolutely. It helps with that learning curve dramatically. You know, he knows this positions he's supposed to be in. He speaks to terminology. So yeah, that's a real thing. When they come from real high school coaches, real good AAU programs, that helps with that transition to college basketball.
Yeah, and then your fourth guy, Ryder Frost, the 6'6" kid from Mass. I mean, a great 3-point shooter, right? 44% from three. Just a great shooter.
Oh, he's a flamethrower, Ron. He shoots that thing.
I like
he's
that.
A flamethrower, and he's got some toughness about him too. Like if you close out recklessly, he's going to drive by you. and he's athletic. He's going to go down the lane and he's going to catch some people at the rim. He's really, really athletic, but he shoots at such a high level. He got labeled just as a shooter, but he's got a little bit more to his game than just shooting.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I was going to say, as you're out recruiting now, without naming names, are you finding it easier or getting more reception from the sophomores and juniors that you're watching right now, willing to listen to you now that you have these 4 coming to Notre Dame, and where you can say, hey, look, these are the guys ahead of you that you're going to have a chance to play with and so forth. I mean, you've got a little bit more of a marketing tool right now than you did a year ago. Are you finding out that you're getting a little bit more attention from some of these sophomores and juniors at these tournaments?
Yeah, it gets their attention when you get a McDonald's All-American, when you have a top 10 recruiting class. But I was at the airport last night, and I was stranded in Memphis, and I was just walking around because I've been sitting on my butt all day watching games. So I was just trying to get some steps in, the old man steps. Get to that.
No, you got that Fitbit on. I know.
Yeah,
I got a Fitbit right here, man.
Yeah, you know the swag.
Hey, and that new terminal in Memphis is nice.
It is. It really is. So I was walking, then I heard it. It was 4 times. I'm about to say 5, but I'll be lying. It was 4 times people said, "Go Irish, go Irish." Like, it's such a world brand that, there ain't no reason why we can't be successful at Notre Dame. There's no reason. We got all the resources to be successful. So, that helps though when you get a top 10 class.
All right, so let me ask you this question because recruiting is not what it used to be from the standpoint, man, we bring in 6 freshmen in, blah, blah, blah. Recruiting is different because at some places, and I don't know if Notre Dame will eventually get to this place, you may take 1 freshman and 2 or 3 NIL portal guys. Mm-hmm. I mean, do you ever see yourself getting to that? Or will you always be, 2 or 3 freshmen or 2 or 3 transfers or what?
So the way Notre Dame is set up, like, say there was 2,500 people in that portal at one point, we could probably only realistically look at probably 40 of them. Mm-hmm. Because the basketball has changed, the industry, the NIL, the transfer portal has changed, that academic situation in Notre Dame hasn't changed. Like, right. We can't get anybody and everybody in the school here. So we have to really do a good job of recruiting high school kids, retaining them, developing them, investing in them so they don't go anywhere. We got to stick to that old school model. And we'll probably, like everybody else, hopefully, maybe just have to get 1 a year out of the portal for needs. But we have to do it through high school, the high school method.
Yeah, and speaking of 1 a year out of the portal, the guy you brought in from Northern Arizona, Carson Tout, 6'8", averages 13.4, 12.4 rebounds. Yeah. I mean, just a tough guy, right?
Tough. Led the country in rebounding. Led the country, and that translates. Mm-hmm. That rebounding, it's just an attitude. That's a choice. I'm going to go get this thing. And he chooses to go get that rebound every time. So that translates. We're super excited about him. And what else? I mean, he's also a really good passer. Like, I think you'll see his stats right there. Like, he averaged about 4 assists a game. He'll catch it in that short roll, and he'll spray it out to the shooters. And, like, that's very, very valuable when you have a post player that has that type of skill set. They can rebound and pass that ball. We're looking forward to getting him on campus and investigating him. He gives us some toughness, some size, some toughness, some grit. And he's got a little swag about himself that we kind of need, our team needs. And he won't let us get punked out there on the basketball court. If that makes sense.
Big man with an attitude.
Yeah. We won't get punked out there. Like, somebody hits Marcus, he's going to hit him right back.
Mm-hmm. Sounds good. Hey, I do have a question. East Coast stuff. One of the smaller conferences that I know that some of the Big Ten teams have hit with grad transfers, guys. Aren't there a couple conferences, maybe the Ivy League or the Patriot League, that they only allow the guys 4 years, and then if they want to be a grad transfer, similar to what Knesny's doing right now, they've got to go someplace else. They don't give them that 5th year at the same school. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Think about the guy that was here this year, Matt Alaco from Princeton.
Yeah, exactly, Princeton.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking there was a Harvard kid, I think, that went to Michigan a year or two ago that played really well. And I think that was a big wake-up call for everybody going, okay, where'd this guy come from? Then it was explained that they were only allowed 4 years at that particular school. Okay.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Danny Wolf.
Thank you.
Yeah. So postseason, Micah Shrewsbury comes out and says, our first year offensively, we were pretty good, but we didn't guard anybody. Or no, first year defensively you were really good, stout. Your statistics in the country were in the top 10%, but offensively you struggled. So we spent a lot of time offensively in the offseason and didn't spend as much time defensively, and our defense let us down a little bit. Talk to that for a minute.
You are what you emphasize. And then sometimes, being a good coach, you got to have a little sense of humility. So that's on us as a coaching staff. You are what you emphasize. So we learned our lesson from that. There's got to be a fine line to make sure we're emphasizing both a little bit more. But a lot of times it's the makeup of your team as well kind of defines you a little bit, what they can do, what they can't do. We felt like we had to change a couple of things to put ourselves in the best situation to be successful. So, yeah, that's defense is back to the top of the list.
Yeah, and I think and one of the tough things about coaching is when you're making out that practice schedule and you say, I want to go. I mean, there's never a 50-50 deal, 50 offense, 50 defense, because there's some things you got to emphasize. If you can get to 60-40, and when I was coaching, it was always 60 defense and 40 offense, because I always hung my hat defensively. But I know Notre Dame basketball is in such great hands. Micah and your staff there at Notre Dame are first-class people, and you guys know ball. I mean, know ball, know where to get players, and I can't wait till the day when y'all come out there and the ACC is rocking in full, right?
You know what? It's coming. And first and foremost, thank you for the kind words. Thank you for saying those kind things. Thank you for being kind. It's coming. Like we're on the up. We're coming. We feel like we're in a good spot. The administration is behind us. The athletic director is a big fan. We got all the resources to be successful here. We're just very grateful and thankful to be in this situation, represent Notre Dame. Man, this is a big time program.
Yeah. So talk about living up in South Bend as opposed to living down in Indy, man.
Yeah.
That's a little different though, right?
It's different, but it's not like I'm outside walking my dog. Yeah. I mean, I'll be in the gym either way.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
exactly.
It's a little colder. People would be surprised how much colder it is in South Bend than it is in Indianapolis. Yeah, it's a little colder, but fortunately,
it's a lot colder.
Yeah, fortunately enough, we hoop in the ACC, so you get a chance to dip to Florida, you dip to North Carolina. You get those you get spots of sunshine through those rough winters, and it kind of motivates you and keeps you going.
Hey, listen, man, we can't tell you enough how much we appreciate you coming on tonight and taking some time out of your busy schedule. I mean, I've been there. I know Pat's coached in college also, and we know how busy y'all are. So Ryan, thanks for coming on, man. You guys are getting this stuff done, and there's going to come a time I'm going to show up, and Pat and I are going to show up and watch one of your workouts this summer, man.
Man, please do come hang out, spend some time with us. Just come over and hang out. It ain't even got to be a workout. Just come hang. We just really grateful for your support. Thank you.
All right, man. Coach, you got anything?
I'm good. I'm looking forward to just coming over there maybe in June and just hanging out, because we keep talking about it, but we just never do.
And hang out with us.
And I got to hang out, and I got to get me a new Irish hat, man. I mean, I've had this one for a couple years. I got to give me one of those sweet ones you got on, man.
You know what? There's bookstores all around this
I
place.
got you. I know that campus is beautiful, man. I love that campus.
Yeah.
All right, hey, listen, man. Thanks so much, Ryan.
My pleasure, and thank you guys. I hope you guys have a fantastic day. Thanks for having me on. I'm grateful.
All right.
Thanks, bud.
That's the great Ryan Owens, man. That was such a cool interview.
Yeah.
And he was so down to earth. And he's an assistant basketball coach at Notre Dame, man.
Yes.
You and me are a couple slaps. We're not pillars of. I mean, we used to be pillars of the community.
I know. Now we're just
a couple slaps.
Just old time coaches.
But he's taken his time to chat with us. I'm so happy, and I'm such a Notre Dame fan, and polling for him.
I hope they do
Micah
well.
Shrewsbury to get rolling. Why don't we take a little bit of a time out here, pay some bills with our sponsors. We're going to come back and we're going to talk with the great Bodie Bender, the new coach at Elkhart. Right?
Sounds good to me.
All right, man.
Medicare plans can be confusing, but they don't have to be. I'm Tony Ledger, licensed insurance agent. I can help you compare your options because I'm appointed with many nationally recognized carriers. With my help, you can find the coverage that fits your needs and budget. I don't want you to be my client today. I want you to be my client forever. Call Tony Ledger today to schedule your free consultation or visit tledger.com.
Dealing with the loss of a loved one can leave you with lots of unanswered questions and stress. At Hahn Funeral Homes of Mishawaka, we're here to help. Our focus has always been on the families that we serve. At Hahn Funeral Homes, we stand ready to meet your needs and exceed your expectations when selecting a funeral home. Our experienced funeral directors and staff will be there for you every step of the way for all of your funeral service needs. Hahn Funeral Homes is located at 505 West 8th Street in downtown Mishawaka. You can call them anytime at 574-255-1474 or stop in to get all your answers from our local funeral professionals about all your funeral needs. Hahn Funeral Homes, a family serving families. Are you sick and tired of relying on somebody else to get you around? Are you coming to Indiana from a place where you just never needed to learn how to drive? Well, if you're looking to hit the road with confidence, Frick's Driving School in Mishawaka has been helping drivers of all ages gain the skills they need for a lifetime of safe driving. With experienced, patient instructors like Mr. Coach Pat King and flexible scheduling, Frick's makes it easy for you to learn to drive easy and stress-free. Whether you're a first-time driver or need a refresher like Mr. Coach Ron Heklinski, Frick's has you covered. Plus, for just $65, they offer the state driving exam in-house. No need to go anywhere else. Visit fricksdrivered.com or call 574-256-0650 to get started today. If you're nearing retirement, or if you're like me and you're not nearing retirement but you still want to get your money right for retirement, the Harbor Group Planned Wealth has you covered with the ability to answer questions like, what specific steps should I take before retiring? When should I draw Social Security? How do I manage investment risk? How much will health insurance cost if I retire? If I'm over 62, which I still am not, how much money can I earn part-time without affecting my Social Security and or my pension? And is it really possible to get a raise if I retire? If you want all those questions and more answered, call the Harbor Group at 855-5-HARBOR, HARBER, or you can contact VP Jessica Rhodes at 765-393-1074, or visit the website harborgroup.com. Securities and advisory services are offered through LPL Financial, a registered investment advisor, member FINRA SIPC.
Good.
Hey there, we are back with more of Coach's Corner with Heck and King. Coming up is the new boys basketball coach of the one and only Elkhart High School, which is still hard for me to figure out. There's no longer two Elkhart High Schools. It's Bodie Bender.
Hey, that's the Black Sedan Band, man.
That's right.
That's playing some tunes out of Birmingham, Alabama. Are you kidding me?
Look at his hat.
That's a Chicago Cub fan right there, Bodie Bender, a great Chicago Cub fan. The new head coach of the Elkhart Blue Blazers. Oh, excuse me.
Crimson Chargers.
The Elkhart Lions. What's up, Coach?
What's going on, guys? Can you hear me?
Ah, you sound like an Elkhart Lion head coach, man. Talk about your career. You actually are an assistant coach at Tippy Valley for a while. You come to Elkhart, get the job at Carroll. Talk about your career. Tell our listeners how you got to Mishawaka.
Well, I mean, I was an assistant under my head coach, Randy Deshawn, at Elkhart Central for a couple of years. And he was there 2 years, but I spent 4 years at the school. I really enjoyed every minute of it, from the educational aspect to the athletic aspect of it. There was never a dull day at Elkhart Central. I always look forward to showing up because there was always something going on in the building. And then I left. I couldn't get a sniff anywhere to be a head coach. So I started mapping out, looked at a state of Indiana map, and Carroll, Florida was open. I found a way to find it on the map, little Florida, Indiana. Went down there. We built that thing. We had a lot of success, especially my last 2 years. We were 21-4 my third year there, and got beat on a buzzer beater in the sectional final to get beat 45-44. And then the next year we went 24-2. And, the excitement for me was to bring the team to my hometown, Elkhart, Indiana, and play in the semi-state at Northside Gym. We got beat by a very good team with Connor Esesian, who's playing in Nebraska now, formerly of Wisconsin.
Yeah.
They had a big kid by the name of Logan Guard at 6'7". They were a handful for us. We were 6 points away from a date at Gainbridge. And then all of a sudden, heck, you retire, and my phone is blowing up from Dean Huppert and Keith Kinder about my interest in coming home. And so we made that move and, came back to Mishawaka, Indiana, and we had some success there. And here I am and at Elkhart now. And I feel, and I know, heck, you and Pat being Anderson guys and all that, but I feel like I'm going to get to play my home games now in the cathedral, which is Northside Gym.
Yeah, there's
a good point.
And they always say that the Northside Gym is just a smaller version of the Wigwam, just maybe by 1,000 people, right?
Not by much, that's for sure. I remember your semi-state game against was it Central Noble when it was again. They were good.
They were good.
They were darn good.
Yeah, and so not only did you come to Mishawaka, and coach your brains out, but you came into Mishawaka. Mishawaka had not won a sectional since, I want to say, 1986. Your first year there, you win a sectional, you break that drought. Your second year there, then you win a sectional in just a thriller of a game against South Bend Riley. Brady Fisher steps to the line and knocks down 3 free throws, and then you win the regional. And now again, it's a common theme. You're going back to Northside Gym to play in a semi-state game, and just unprecedented for Mishawaka basketball to have that amount of success in back-to-back seasons.
Yeah, that was a thrilling time. You guys have been there. You understand how exciting that is, not only for you as a head coach and being in that seat and getting a lot of credit where, it's just a lot more than you. It's an exciting time for your team. And then I think as you start to get deeper in the tournament, you start to understand what it means for the community. And you start to feel that. I don't want to call it pressure, but you start to feel that a little more as you start to make a run.
Yeah, I think it is pressure, right? I mean,
I think so.
I would use that term pressure because, and especially in Mishawaka's case, now maybe not at Lawrence North or Fishers to where that's an everyday occurrence, but I want to say Mishawaka hadn't won a regional since like 1937, right? Or something like that, right?
Something like that. Yeah, it was almost 70 years.
Yeah, before we were around, didn't it?
won that regional there at Michigan City against East Chicago Central.
Yeah, so I think pressure, and people would ask me what's coaching at the Wigwam, and you obviously played at the Wigwam. They would say, what's the pressure like? Did the pressure get to you? And I always had one answer that well, not really, because no one could put any more pressure on me than I would put on myself. Is that how you would feel about that?
Yeah, I probably felt more so in that sectional final against Riley, knowing that we didn't play very well against them down at the Kokomo tournament. We didn't play very well at all. But I knew that morning that our guys were locked in, coming in for our walkthrough, and I looked at each one of those guys in the eyes, and they were ready to go. And you had that feeling that they were not going to lose on their home floor. Now, you go back and you send them home, and you bring them back at 6 o'clock or whatever to start that pregame ritual, and you don't know how they're going to play. But I had that feeling all morning. I had a great feeling about our game plan in that game, that our kids were ready to play. I don't know if that thing could have ended any wilder than what it did. That is probably one ending that myself will never forget.
Yeah, no, and if you had to have somebody at the free throw line, and you would have thought about that at the beginning of the season, because I'm sure in all the games you coached, either at Adams or Madison or North Miami, there was always going to be a guy that you would say, I want this guy on the line at the end of a game.
Sure.
I would think, your son, right? Yeah, but you got to get off the bench to be in the game, Scott. Just kidding. But anyway,
crap, I forgot.
Anyway, so I would say going into the season, the game, whatever, that Brady Fisher would be the guy that you would always say I would want to have in that scenario, right?
He froze on us.
He's a frozen.
He's a guy that didn't shoot. Can you hear me? He's not a guy that shot very well from the free throw line the whole season, but he is a guy that's been in big minutes. Big time games when you talked about football, and then back-to-back years in basketball. The pressure didn't get to Brady. I think he liked that. He liked that scenario, and he liked. And he stepped up and knocked down 3 big free throws to take us to overtime.
Yeah, so and I know you'll know these names because you're a Ball State guy and just a big Cardinal fan. You've got more Ball State memorabilia than anybody for your age that I've ever freaking seen. But so you remember the name Paris McCurdy, and Paris McCurdy was a 6'7" kid out of Detroit. And if you look at Paris McCurdy's free throw percentage. For the first, 20 minutes, first half, for about the first 35 minutes, his free throw percentage was probably around 60. If you look at Paris McCurdy's free throw percentage in the last 3 minutes of every game, it's probably about 98.
Wow.
So there are just some guys that, and Brady didn't shoot free throws well that year, but there are just some guys that are made to handle that pressure.
Yeah, and he was one of them.
Yeah,
he was one of them.
Yeah.
Well, all right, let's shift gears. Tell us about this new shirt you have on. Tell us about how things have gone here in the last 3 weeks, and some of the things that have gone on and got you to decide that Elkhart was your next step, and what goes on from now. Tell us what your schedule is here for your next month.
Let me see if I can move out here where I get a little bit better. I think for me, these last 96 hours have been wild. I got approved last Tuesday. And then right away, it was meet with the athletic directors on Thursday. I was at the school all day. I took a personal day, sick day from Mishawaka. And I was there most of the day going through some stuff, just budget stuff and all kinds of stuff. And then went out to the freshman division, which is the old Central building. I met with those freshmen that are going to be sophomores about what's coming up with practice. And then at the end of the day, I got to meet with the sophomores through juniors that will be juniors through seniors next season at the Memorial Building. And I got to talk to them. So it's been an exciting time. I'm trying to get my staff together. I think I'm starting to narrow that down a little bit. And then from there, it's practice in June and play a little bit and then take some time off. And then we'll be right back at it come late September, early October.
So I know you have a great feeling for the people of Mishawaka. They were able to bring you home and have you be the head coach at Mishawaka High School for 3 years. But as happens when coaches are successful and have an opportunity to take better jobs, you step in and you look at that job and you say, yeah, this is a better job. Talk about saying goodbye to Mishawaka and now stepping into the deal at Elkhart.
I mean, the people at Mishawaka were good to me the whole time I was there. So it is a tough thing when you leave good people. Just like when I left Carroll, there were good people there that I still, consider friends today, still talk to today. And it's always hard to leave people that you've made friendships with. But this was always one job that I had circled ever since I spent some time there when it was 2 schools, and always had an interest in. And I just felt like, the time was now to make that move and get back and give myself a chance to get the job, which I did. And, they want to win and I want to win. And so it's time to get started.
Well, I know you've got a lot of old-time coaches in the hallway. Deshaun's there teaching math. Sarah Patowski's there from over at Penn. He's teaching math. Matt Wendy's there. He's teaching math. I was there Friday subbing, and Mike Drews was there too. So you've got a whole list of old-time coaches walking the hallways. That's for sure.
Yeah, can we get maybe Heck over there next year, and then we'd have about 900 victories between all the coaches walking the hallways. Maybe it'll give me somebody that I can bounce some ideas off of.
Yeah, well, so you need to talk to your buddy Superintendent Huff at Elkhart, and you probably could have, but when you took that sub pay from 300 to 165, I think I may stay at the crib. I don't know though. I don't know.
Yeah, they made a big mistake. The school board just voted to change their substitute teacher pay. They cut it in half. So some of us have some decisions to make about what we're going to be doing next fall.
Yeah. So you got so when you talk about your returning players, you got some athletes, you got some size, you got some kids that can shoot it. Talk about your new players.
We got Frankie Willis back, who played a lot as a freshman. He'll be a junior. He's dynamic. He's dynamic in football with the ball. He's dynamic in basketball. I know we got beat in the first game this past year, the holiday tournament. They went on to the championship and won it. And he had 30 in the title game. So he's just got that rare ability now. And I think the more we go on, we see less kids that just have that ability to score, and he's got that ability. He's junior. See, these guys are getting older. And I told them last Thursday, the time is now. Like the time is now to win, start putting it together. So I do have a lot of juniors coming back, so it should be a veteran group because a lot of these guys played a lot as freshmen and sophomores. You got Keaton Anderson back. He's going to be a senior. He can shoot it. You got Alonzo Newburn. Actually, Alonzo was the first kid to reach out to me Tuesday night after I was approved. He got my number. He sent me a text. I gave him a call. We had a good conversation. He's as athletic as can be. In fact, they told me a story. He has not played football any of the 3 years in high school. He's going to go out this year. He went to those high school combines they had last week, and he performed in these combines, and right away he's got 20 schools calling him. So that tells you what kind of athlete he is. And then we have some size inside with Samarcus Gibson at about 6'5", who's only going to be a junior. And then Quinn Chandler, who's 6'5", 6'6", who's only going to be a junior, and he can shoot it a little bit as well from the perimeter. So, there's some pieces there. Myself and the coaching staff, we're just going to have to mold it into what we want.
Yeah, I was going to say that Will Cody did a really good job here the last 2 years of of developing those younger players and kind of bit the bullet, kind of like what Heck did his last year at Mishawaka. He sent a lot of juniors and seniors home and went with freshmen and sophomores, and he's got things pretty well set up, and they were doing things the right way. The JV team had a good season, so I think you've mentioned names. You've hit it right on the head. I think they are anticipating having a good season next year.
Yeah, and I'd be lying if I said our schedule doesn't help us. It's pretty tough, but when you're the 10th largest school in the state of Indiana,
there you go. I mean, really.
Exactly, and you host a sectional.
Mm-hmm.
You'll have to you go on the road for regional, but then you host a semi-state more than likely, unless they want to send you someplace else.
Yeah, let's try to take care of a sectional before we put.
Well, like you said, you get to host a sectional, and Heck spent 19 years in the Wigwam hosting sectionals.
Yeah,
there's a lot to that.
There's nothing like that, to be honest with you, especially when the score bench was about 2 feet from the center line, and my quote coach's bench was non-existent. We like that. We're like, hey, listen, man. I mean, the ability to interact with you on a daily basis at school and talk ball and be able to broadcast your games and be able to have post-game shows with you, pre-game shows with you. I've had a blast kind of living this again through you, and I want to thank you for always being really candid in those interviews, and it hasn't been easy for me because I'm the guy that was the coach, and a lot of coaches would not let the old coach in like you did, and I really, really appreciate your openness and all of the great things that you did for the Cavemen.
No problem. I appreciate you, Heck. It's always fun to sit down and talk with a Hall of Famer, whether we're talking basketball or we're talking about the Cubs or the Bears, whatever it may be. We share the same affection for Notre Dame football. We share the same affection. It's like we were probably brothers, except, you're a little bit older than I am, so that'd be pretty tough. Maybe a great uncle. I don't know.
Yeah, just a little. And listen, keep that great Ball State memorabilia.
There you go, Heck.
I'm seeing it, man. I see it, man. I see it. Keep that stuff rolling, and have a great career. And we'll see you, another week to 10 days before you get out of here, man.
Thank you.
Thanks for taking some time, man.
All right. Take care, Bodie.
See ya.
All right.
So what I was talking about when I was talking about the Ball State memorabilia was I was going through all my stuff.
Right.
And you got stuff.
Sure.
Got stuff from Madison. You got stuff from Adams. You got stuff from.
I got stuff hidden from Butler.
Yeah, we all got stuff.
Yeah.
And so I got all this Ball State stuff. And I told Bodie, I said, Bodie, you give me a pair of shoes, size 12, and I will give you a box of Ball State memorabilia, plaques. And I mean, he was so happy. I never did get the shoes, but I never held it to him.
I wonder if my daughter signed any of those, because I think he knew my daughter.
He did know your daughter, and he thought your daughter was freaking beautiful.
I know, Scott. We may have to keep track. We got to do a little censorship on Bodie. Go take care of your big sister.
Bodie got a beautiful wife, got a beautiful little girl, man. He's doing really well. Hey, let's take another break. Let's come back. I want to talk about Shoeless Joe Jackson and Pete Rose.
Sounds good to me.
Finding private health insurance can be stressful. What if it didn't have to be? I'm Tony Letcher, licensed insurance agent. I prefer to personally meet with my clients so I can get a better understanding of your needs and budget. I can even review your current coverage. I don't want you to be my client today. I want you to be my client forever. Call Tony Letcher today to schedule your free consultation or visit tletcher.com.
The loss of a loved one can leave you with lots of unanswered questions and stress. At Hahn Funeral Homes in Mishawaka, we're here to help. Our focus has always been on the families that we serve. At Hahn Funeral Homes, we stand ready to meet your needs and exceed your expectations when selecting a funeral home. Our experienced funeral directors and staff will be there for you every step of the way for all your funeral service needs. Hahn Funeral Homes is located at 505 West 8th Street in downtown Mishawaka. You can call us anytime at 574-255-1474 or or stop in to get your answers from our local funeral professionals about all your funeral needs. On Funeral Homes, a family serving families. Hey, are you in the great state of Indiana and need your driver's license? Frick's Driving School in Mishawaka makes it easy with the Indiana State Driving Exam in-house for just $65. No formal driver's education is required. You might even get to drive with Pat King. Who wouldn't want that? I don't know. You just have to be 16 years and 270 days old, which is like 9 months, and have held an Indiana learner's permit for at least 180 days, which is like 6 months. Frick's provides the vehicle. You just have to bring yourself, a can-do attitude, and a ride to and from the office. The exam takes only about 20 minutes, and you can walk out with your official Indiana driver's license, which we're like the only state that calls it an operator's license for some reason. To schedule, you can call 574-256-0650 or visit fricksdrivered.com. If you're nearing retirement and need to get your money right, and you know what, heck, even if you're not approaching retirement and you still want to get your money right for retirement, call the Harbor Group Planned Wealth. They can help you retire with confidence, especially if you have questions like, what specific steps should I take before retiring? When should I draw Social Security? How do I manage investment risk? How much will health insurance cost if I retire? If I'm over 62, which I am not, but if you are, how much money can you earn part-time without it affecting Social Security and or pension? And is it really possible to get a raise if I retire? If you want all those questions asked and probably many more questions answered, you can call the Harbor Group at 765-393-1074, or you can visit them online at harborgroup.com. Securities and advisory services are offered through LPL Financial, a registered investment advisor. Member FINRA SIPC. All right, we are back with one final segment of Coach's Corner before we break for the summer. It's been great entertaining everybody for the last however many weeks it's been.
37, man, 37.
That's it? Okay, 37. So here they are again for the last time. It's Ron and Patrick.
Yes, it is Ron and Patrick. It's Ronnie Heck and Patrick King. And so we've obviously and every year we have a blast. And this year's been particularly really cool because we're in a great venue.
Can you believe that with this? We've done this 3 years now.
Yeah, this has been really cool.
I'm
and 37 shows. We've stepped up our game quite a bit. We brought Scott aboard, and he puts a professional show together and makes us look good by spinning the dials and doing everything for us.
I have no idea what I'm actually doing.
Well,
we're winging it.
You must have, because you're doing a great job with us. I got one, a thing or two maybe to talk about. How about? And I knew this was going to happen. I knew it.
Let me guess.
And Pete Rose knew it too. He said
baseball.
Pete Rose said, when I die, they'll probably put me in the Hall of Fame. And Donald Trump has a meeting with the commissioner of baseball and says Pete Rose deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. Rob Manfred listens and says, okay. Pete Rose dies a couple months ago, 1991. It was his first year to be eligible after he quit playing, because you have to be out for 15 years.
Right.
So now he could be reelected or elected in 2028. Lifetime average 303. Career hits leaders 4,256 games played, 3,562. 3 World Series, 2 with the Reds, 1 with the Phillies. And what's he do? He manages the Reds.
He manages the Reds.
He's got a gambling problem, so he bets on the Reds. Now, I heard President Trump say, well, he only bet on his team to win.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, he knew if his pitcher was banged up.
Mm-hmm.
He knew which players were banged up. He knew when to bet, when not to bet.
Inside trader information.
Yes. And so was the band legitimate?
Yeah. I hate to say it, but it's one of those things. As a player, he's a Hall of Famer. As a manager, maybe not.
Yeah. Yeah. So
And is that out? Is that so
Hall
far?
of
That was out.
Shame.
That was outweighing him getting into the. That was
Yeah.
the no part of getting into the Hall of Fame.
and I guess was that a ban for a lifetime? That's the question, because Shoeless Joe Jackson of the 1919 White Sox, the famous movie 8 Men Out.
The Black Sox scandal.
Yes, and Shoeless Joe took $5,000, but he still batted .375 in the series in 1999. Had the only homer of the series in 1999. 1919.
World War One.
The commissioner, Kennesaw Mountain Landis, came out and says, "You guys are banned forever, man."
He was a dictator back then. It was his word, his rules. That's for sure. There was no negotiating like there might have been today.
Do you want to hear what you said it was 5,000?
Okay.
You want to know what that's worth today?
What's the comparison?
According to USinflationcalculator.com, $5,000 in 1919 is worth $92,715.32. That is a rate of inflation of 1,754.3%.
Yeah, and so he took the money. But when it came time to throw in the games, he didn't. But he still took the money. And 7 of his teammates, there were 3 or 4 of them that took the money also, and also did throw the game. There was a couple pitchers that threw nothing but meatballs down the middle of the plate, and I mean, I can't fathom being a competitor and taking money not to play my best, because every time, I mean, we weren't very good.
Well, we were role players.
And so anytime we got on the court, it was because of how hard we worked.
Right.
And if some cat would have came up to me and said, here's $10,000, don't play hard tonight, throw the ball to the other team, I don't think I could ever have done that.
And if they would have told me to miss shots or something, I didn't take enough shots to affect the game.
You didn't need money to miss shots either.
They may have gave you money.
I didn't need money to miss shots.
I mean,
You're right.
they may have gave you money to try and make a shot.
Yeah.
Although, don't you have the highest field goal percentage in state finals history?
I do. That is true. I have the highest shooting percentage in the state finals.
At what?
I was 1 for 1.
There you go. I love that.
I was 1 for 1. That's my Charles Barkley.
So will Shoeless Joe, will Pete Rose get into the Hall of Fame? And again, they're eligible in 2028. They need 12 out of 16 votes to get in. I say without question, because we live sometimes in a society where we can kind of forgive some negative things.
Time takes care of some of that.
Time has a way of healing.
Yes.
I say they will both get in. Now, I don't know about the 7 other Black Sox, but I say Shoeless Joe and Pete Rose will get in.
Well, like I said, Pete Rose, the player, yes. Pete Rose, the manager, no. And that's been the issue. So it's just how you promote it and how you word things.
Well, what about Shoeless Joe? I mean, Shoeless Joe, the guy with shoes, or Shoeless Joe, the guy without shoes?
Good point. We're not voting, so it doesn't matter, does it?
I say they're in, man.
Hey, real quick, some high school stuff. High school track sectionals are this week. Baseball sectionals start the week of Memorial Day next week. Softball sectionals are next week. Boys volleyball was last week up here in our area. Penn beat St. Joe, and they play Washington Township this coming Saturday.
Wow.
They beat Chesterton. They play them over at Valpo. So high school tournaments here in the spring sports are winding down, and our broadcast sports, I think, is doing the Plymouth baseball sectional.
Wow.
So John and Kenny will be doing that, and you and I may be involved in the regionals, because the baseball sectional and the regionals, or regional and semi-state here in a couple of weeks, are the same day.
Yeah.
So we may get put to work here in a couple of weeks.
Just a bit outside.
That's right. We talked about.
Are you going to do your Harry Carey impression?
Well, we could
just a bit outside.
We're going to do some Bob Euchre more. The PGA, as we said yesterday, everybody got to see Scottie Scheffler put on a show.
Good for him. 11 under, man. 11
Our
under.
LIV guys were close until that last 9 holes, and then they kind of faded away. The Indy 500's coming up. We've got a rookie on the pole for the first time in 40-some years. The Penske people got caught cheating again and got stuck in the back row.
Imagine that.
So your winners, Will Powers and Joseph Newgarden, they didn't do anything wrong. It was the chief steward or whatever they call it, the tech guys that soldered a couple things together for aerodynamics to get them to go faster and got caught. So
wow,
the Newgarden and Will Power are going to start 32nd and 33rd, even though they were in the fast 12. So we'll see how quick it takes them to get up into the front of the race.
Hey, I would seriously like to make a run through here and thank our sponsors. Again, Tony Letcher has been with us for a couple of years. Pat Hahn at Hahn Funeral Home has done a great job for us. Frick's Driving, the people of Frick's Driving, which you know really, really well, are outstanding. Ben Harbor at the financial group came on board halfway through our shows this year. We'll be on board full-time next year also. I can't thank our sponsors enough. The Black Sedan Band, our bumper music, Donnie Hecklinski, their great drummer, the people here at the Linebacker Lounge for hosting us.
Mm-hmm.
What a great place to come in and be able to talk sports. And we thank them so much, and to be able to promote the Linebacker Lounge on our shows.
And our viewers, we've doubled our numbers of viewers, not only live but streaming the archives and also on our podcasts. Whether you're on wherever you listen to your podcasts in the car, we're there too. So all of our old ones, all 36 of them, are archived. So if you're sitting at home and need something to do, you can get on there and look them up. Scott's done a great job of putting timestamps on them. If you want to listen to a particular interview that we had, you can go through and look and find out who's where and pick that up. I know last week,
just on the YouTube though.
Yeah, on the YouTube stuff. I know last week Scott Steger was with us. His son Eric was 10 over last week at the PGA. Got to play Thursday and Friday. Missed the cut, but had a chance to play down and was on TV last week. Was actually in the group with one of the leaders with Poston for the first couple of days. So Golf Channel had a bunch of stuff on them. So
here's a question before you get too sentimental and
emotional,
trying to sign off. Yeah. Okay. You're a decent golfer there, Dad.
Yes.
What do you think with Eric putting up the score that he did at Quail Hollow? Do you think you'd be able to break 100 on a PGA Tour level course like that?
No. First of all, I couldn't hit it far enough.
Just to put it in perspective on how hard they set those courses up to be.
I'm
watching
right now,
in the U.S. Open coming up in June, like the winner will probably be like 300 for the week.
Yeah, I'm playing at a 9.5 handicap from 6,500 yards, and those guys were playing like, what do we say, 72 or 7,300, but that course was playing a whole nother 1,000-yard course. They were hitting driver 6 irons, driver 7 irons on holes, and I'd be hitting driver 3-wood 8 iron just to get up to a par 4. They had 500-yard par 4s. So no, 100 would be wishful thinking.
Yeah, I think you could shoot 100. I mean, 100 is some of those would be what, 30 over par.
Yeah, if I got to 100, I'd just quit.
Yeah, 28 over. No, I get to 100, I'm happy.
I might be on hole
as a matter of fact, I am going to go out and play golf.
I might be on hole 15 when I get to 100. I'll just quit.
You gonna be out there at Blackthorn, Heck?
Yeah, go to Blackthorn.
All right, so listen to me for one quick second. I want to thank all of our guests. Our guests have been amazing. This has been a great year. We will be back the third Monday of August talking football, man.
Yeah, that should be the first week 1 of the high school football season, and probably getting ready for school to start.
Yeah, I want to thank my wife. 18th? I want to thank my wife for allowing me to be out on Monday nights. I want to thank Becky for letting Pat out of the house to get out on Monday nights.
She's glad that I'm here. So yeah, but thank you.
No, she'll be asking next week. Ain't you got a show next week, Pat?
What are you doing next week?
What are you doing home, man?
Next week I'll probably be going at the airport to pick her up because we're heading out. I'm heading for Dallas for golf tournament. She's heading for Nashville to see the grandchildren.
Hey, Scott, be cool, man. Great having you with us. And as we sign off, I want to thank everybody and have great health. God be with everybody. And we will see you
In
next
August.
fall.
In August.
All
Yep,
right,
sounds
man.
good. Thanks, guys.
Peace.
If there's any big breaking news throughout the summer, I may jump on and do a quick instant reaction.
Beautiful.
But as for now, we'll plan on seeing everybody in August. It has been a great time with you, and we will see you then.